So friends, we are going to talk about today quality management. Let me ask you this, how many times in your projects do you face quality issues?
All the time.
Most of the time.
From start to end.
Alright, so let's ask Vivek, what are the quality issues that you face in projects?
See, first basically making management aware of the quality is important aspect of
Okay.
the project. That's itself is a challenge. So we start with that quality challenge first to make sure management is aware of it. Second aspect is to make sure that the testing team or the development team understand what is really expected out of the product. And once they understand the product, can they deliver on it? So how would they measure that the deliverable? It comes to the quality of it again, that can I really do what I'm asking for? So it leads to the quality again. And then and most importantly is the development team, when they're developing it, they need to understand the quality should be inbuilt in their code. It should not be something, so third person should be looking at it and building on it. If the development team can understand that, it becomes easier job. So that's not possible.
That's a very good answer, friends. So what Vivek said in nutshell, 3 steps. Step 1, getting a buy-in from the management, because the management is more concerned about delivering a business value, right? For them the concern is how do we create this in this shortest possible time frame with these set of requirements and this much money, right? So they're not really concerned about the quality issues because they don't really directly understand quality. Right? Because quality for them is actually a given. Right? It has to be good. There's nothing to talk about it. Right? That is the perception of the business. So that's the first challenge. The second challenge is, well, you got the buy-in from the top management, but you don't have your team buy-in. So now when the development is going on, the team is not very careful. And if the development is not done properly, the coding is not done properly, especially in the software project, you end up in a scenario where you'll have more bugs, right? Because you're not following the process, step-by-step process to complete development. And then the third aspect is, well, you have done the coding nicely, but when you're checking it, your system is not good enough, or the code that was developed was not good enough, which results in a bug, right? So that is how he put all the 3 important points of quality management, and that's exactly what is quality. So friends, quality management is about creating a quality plan which talks about what my friend said, that looking at the management view of it and getting a buy from management, looking at the management policy, and then once you've done that, having the team find the right way of doing things, right? The right way, so that there are no problems. So that they follow the step-by-step process. They assure, basically, that right systems are being followed. If you do that, then the likelihood is that what you get at the end of the project will be a good quality product, a good deliverable, which will pass the test, right? So, which will be validated. So friends, that is what this topic, quality management, talks about. It says how we, as a project manager, create a good system of managing quality, how we, as a good project manager, assure that our team is following the right processes of creating a good quality, and then check the deliverables. Based on what? Based on the metrics that we created here. So we say we are developing iPhone 6, and this iPhone 6 should load, so software of the iPhone 6 should load between 5 to 8 seconds.
Is it not a performance management rather than a quality?
So then the question is, how do you define the term quality? Is it performance? Is it features? How do we define the term quality?
Quality performance, basically. It's like you are testing the quality performance.
Basically, I understand quality is reaching or meeting or exceeding the matrices which we have set for our project. So
Reaching or meeting the expectations that we
meeting
have
or
set.
exceeding the
Exceeding the
expectations,
So it's a kind of
matrices which we
standards
set for our
process.
project.
Very good, friends. So quality, as you can see, is all about specifications, right? Standards,
Guidelines.
guidelines.
So Sam, one question. Suppose you are making the iPhone, let's take this example. So do we need to test each and every piece, or it's like a random sampling, means pick some sample and then test it from 1000 lot? So which is a good practice actually?
Very good question, and you will see this. This is one of the tools and techniques we will discuss when we talk about quality plan and quality control. Do we check all 1000 pieces and waste time and money, or do sampling? Right? You will see sampling is a technique to first decide here what sample size would be ideal for our product or our project, and then go about picking up samples and checking deliverables, whether they meet the guidelines, the metrics, the parameters or not. If they do meet the parameters, they are passed. So we adopt a random measurement technique depending on what we are creating, right? Because if you're creating bottles of water, imagine 10,000 bottles of water coming out from an assembly line. You cannot check all of them. But on the other hand, if you're doing a project for designing a cardiovascular, valve for a patient,
You need to check each and every piece.
Yeah.
That's correct. Critical.
then you cannot do a random check, because one life gone is you behind jail, right? So depending on the project, depending on the type of product, or you're designing an aeroplane system, you're Boeing,
Right.
right? Or you are Airbus, and you're designing an Airbus 380 or a Boeing Dreamliner 787. So your quality standards have to be very, very high.
Right. So again, one question, it's regarding the random sampling. If suppose you are doing the random sampling and some of the pieces you got some problems, so you will reject all, means complete batch, or you will reject those pieces only?
Very good question. So friends, again, as I said, right, in the beginning, we'll define the criteria. We'll say, I'll pick up phones that are being manufactured on the assembly line. I'm Apple and I'm designing these phones I'm manufacturing these test phones, let's say, in a Foxconn factory in China. So how would I say whether the phone is good or bad? Now, there are 10,000 phones coming out of the line each day. I cannot check all 10,000 phones. So what I will do is I'll have a sampling technique, maybe a random sample or a stratified sampling. There are many ways of doing sampling, but let's keep it very simple and say we'll pick up 1% of the sample. So out of 10,000 phones if you created, right, you said out of 10,000 I'll pick up 1%, because in your quality plan you defined that criteria. Now you'll pick up 1%, which is how many? 100 phones. And if these 100 phones pass, and then you put a tolerance limit. Out of the 100 phones, I want to create a 6 sigma process, for example. Now 6 sigma process would mean probably
997.
Right.
3.4.
defects in a million. So in 10,000 phones, even one defect is
Not acceptable.
not good. Let's say 2 sigma phone standard you decided, right? So 2 sigma is roughly 95%. So 9,500 phones, if they pass your test, then it means your process meets the requirement and you can pass this whole batch.
So you are saying 95 phones actually, because your sample size is 100, right? If 95 phones pass the test, that means
Yeah.
you pass the batch, right?
Yeah.
Because,
That's the
because,
Because 1%, right?
No, it is not 100 phones, it's 10,000 phones.
No, but
Oh, that's
sampling
a-
we are doing for 100 phones.
No, no.
yeah, yeah.
We are going to sample 1% of the
100
total
We are
manufacturing.
Because
taking only 100.
in the policy we decided that we will test 1% of the phones. See, that is your policy, right? Now policy will vary from industry to industry, company to company, project to project. Right?
So that depends basically on the policy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good questions. Looks like you were ready with these questions.
No, basically I was having experience in manufacturing plant actually.
Yeah, yeah.
That is what means we face these kind of problems. That's what I asked.
Yeah, yeah. So I do a lot of this stuff, especially if you're taking Six Sigma or, you know, DMAC course, or talking about Deming, or, you know, those people, Duran, Crosby, the people who spoke a lot about quality management, you know, and that's where the quality theories came from. So these are very important speakers, man. Deming, Crosby, Duran, and a couple of them more, like some proprietary techniques like Six Sigma, etc. Or TQM, Total Quality Management, right? So we'll talk about all these things in greater detail.
Right. In fact, we face this problem is like this is the delivery cost, means whatever you are delivering, that quality you are testing. But in operational, if you see, they have the operational quality test also, means after each operation they will pick the items, whatever the sub-assembly is there, and then they will do quality tests on some of them.
See, you're very good. So friends, you will see that the difference between manufacturing and project is that in manufacturing you manufacture items operationally. But we are talking about quality management from a project management perspective. So that's why if you noticed I used the word test. You're testing a product. Or test release. It is still not in the commercial environment. It is in the production phase. Let's put it this way. Any questions, thoughts, ideas, suggestions on quality? Alright, so I think that's, friends, basically the notion about quality management, and we'll talk more about this in detail.